It is Wednesday again. This is the Wednesday Night Mouse Party. And tonight we've got Gizzard Gary. How's it going, Gizzard?
Going pretty good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
And we've got Gun Websites of Gun Websites fame. How's it going, G Webs?
Good. Thanks for hosting. Thanks for the invite. Anybody can join in.
And there's a couple people out there. Ron Wayne. Excuse me. So excited to see you, Wayne. I'm choked up. And DJ was out there earlier. As always, having a big wee. And Gizzard Gary. Oh. The other night, the other day, I will say, was my wife's birthday. So on the way home from work, I stopped and got her a card and some cupcakes. And gave it to her. And she gave me a big hug and said, thank you. And then she said, well, you know, my birthday was yesterday, don't you? And so I shrugged and said, But when I early on in our relationship, I told her, don't get angry. I will probably forget your birthday. I will probably forget our anniversary. It doesn't mean I don't care. It just means I forgot. So she is very understanding about that. And actually, last year for our anniversary, one day she goes, hey, you know, it's our anniversary today. I said, no, it's next month. She goes, are you sure? And so I said, no, isn't it? And one of my sisters gave us a cutting board with our wedding date on it. And so we consulted the cutting board, and I'll be damned, it was. But I didn't feel too bad because she had forgotten to. So. Oh, hey, hang on here. Let me find the right page. We had a poll this week, as we do most weeks.
Oh, I thought you were going to put the banner up.
Oh, hey, yeah, I'll do that too here. So here's a link for the community tab. I'll pin that to the top. So if you haven't voted in this week's poll, you can go there and vote. And then let me get the banner going. At the bottom of the screen, there is an email address on tacticalfossil@gmail.com, and there's a link that'll get you somewhere. You can send in comments, suggestions, or pictures within reason. And if you watch this in replay, leave a comment. Anything we talk about, agree with, disagree with, think we left out, let me know. I always read the comments, and they are always appreciated. X Adam 1's out there, too. Good evening. Oh, let me call up our poll. And for some reason, there we go. The comments all disappeared for the poll. There's only one of them shows up, Woods, who said donuts. But what is the best pastry? Cinnamon roll, puff pastry, turnover, strudel, or Danish?
I think I said something like I could pass on all of these, I think, or something like
I've
that.
got it up on my screen. I see 3 comments.
Yeah, on mine there's only one. I don't know what happened. I can see the comments if I go to my notifications over here. But if I click on them, the notification, it shows me just Woods comments. It won't show me the comment that I clicked on.
Have you refreshed that lately? Because the last 2 comments were made in the last 3 minutes.
Well, let's refresh it and see what happens. Well, we've got more comments, but not.
There was
Not
like
the
7
first.
when I commented or something. There was a bunch.
There they are. Yeah, you just need to refresh. Okay.
Well, that still doesn't show Vanessa Kitty or Tim Allen's
Well, I
or
don't see
G-Webs.
Vanessa Kitties.
No, I'm saying
Yeah, I can.
whenever I commented like a few days ago, there was already like 7 comments in there. So if it's not showing like 10 or more, then it's not showing them all.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh well. Pretty much remember what they said, so we can still go through it. But cinnamon rolls took it with 45%. Earlier when I had checked it, when there were 60 some votes, a Danish was winning. But
Yeah, I almost
Danish
did cinnamon roll. I went with Danish.
Danish is second, then strudel, then turnover, and puff pastry. I like cinnamon rolls with raisins in them.
See, that's what I was going to say. Is like cinnamon rolls. First off, it can be like if you go to a donut place and get cinnamon rolls, that's a thing that they make, right? And it's an entity. But if you go to like I don't know, like a grocery store and to get a cinnamon roll, you might get something that's like a rolled up thing that's in a pan with a whole bunch of other ones. You know what I mean? It's not an individual thing.
Yeah.
It's like a rolled up piece, like a muffin or something. It's like the size of a muffin. You know what I mean? And then there can be everything in between, and then all the packaged ones and stuff. So it's just too big a category for me. I like some of them, but not all of them. And how can you like raisins in there? You like them warm with raisins, and then also
Yep.
cold with raisins?
Yep.
No, no.
And Sergeant Joe Smith, I did click newest. I always do, because normally there are some that don't show up unless I click newest. But now, for some reason today, a bunch of them aren't showing up. But,
I think you should try clicking newest first. Maybe
well, I
I haven't
did
thought that. Maybe I
already.
haven't thought that.
It shows 5. It still doesn't show G Webs or Vanessa Kitty's comments.
Yeah, because Vanessa Kitty said, um, basically when they're made
Something
at
about when they're
home.
making them homemade, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
And
totally
Tim
different
Allen,
too. Do your mom or grandma or somebody ever make cinnamon rolls or any of these things?
yeah, my mom. That's probably why I like raisins in them, because she made them with raisins in them. Tim Allen said he could basically choose any of them, and he'll stand in front of
Yeah, and
the
somebody said,
donuts and stuff, and
"Where's the all of the above option or something?"
yeah.
Somebody said that.
And then you said pretty much pass on all of them.
I said I could pass on all of them because the thing is, there's bad ones, and I'm not about to waste my time because you got to exercise, work off any of these, right? Unless you're a little kid and you're just burning calories. Like all of these, you're going to have to do something to work them off, and I'm not working off like an old crappy, packaged thing out of a vending machine type of thing. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather. So that's what I meant by that. I only picked Danish though because there can be cherries in Danish, but I know that's risky because I don't like almost any other Danishes except for cherry. So
Cream cheese is the best.
I like the ones
same
with
thing.
the.
Like if it's good cream cheese, yes, but sometimes it's not.
I like the berry filled ones with the berry filling. And I almost put bear claw on here, but there's so many different. You have to leave stuff off because I really like bear claws.
When you think of bear claw, what are you picturing?
Kind of strudelish with kind of a cinnamony.
Like like a rectangle,
Yeah.
but then they cut a bunch of slices and stick almonds in there.
Almond. Yep.
Because I've seen some bear claws that were nothing like that, and I'm like, But there could just be extremes, or just they didn't know what they were doing.
But X Adam once said cinnamon rolls would be followed by a strong glazed donut. And Sergeant Joe Smith asked, "Do ho-hos count?" Not for this one.
What were the options again?
Danish strudel, turnover, puff pastry, and cinnamon roll.
Puff pastries,
Gary's,
aren't they usually cheese? Or am I crazy? Or like savory?
which ones?
The puff pastries. I think I usually see those like cheese or.
I had a roommate that he would make puff pastries, and he used kind of a creamy filling. Can't remember if it was like whipped cream or something like that. I don't think I ever had
Whoa.
them. but I watched him make them, and it's kind of magical. It'll be liquidy, and then you stir and stir and stir the shit out of it, and it changes consistency to almost looks like a grits, like a dry grits, and then magically turns back into a liquid. It's really weird because he's like, "Hey, watch this," and he starts stirring and stirring.
This was the batter for the.
Yeah, for the puff pastries.
Huh.
But Gizzard was asking, "Where's the fritters?" Ron Wayne said bacon, and Wood said donut. The turnovers, when I was a kid, I had a bus stop that was at a convenience store, and next to it had been a lot of things, different restaurants at different times. And for a short while, it was a bakery, and probably the best turnovers that I would go in there and play video games because I had video games, and the telephone booth right outside, there would always be quarters in the coin return. So I'd hit the phone booth, grab a couple bucks in quarters, and then go play video games. But they had the best turnovers I've ever had and have not had since. Anything better?
Did they have big chunks of granulated sugar on them?
They,
Like the salt on a pretzel, when they make sugar like that?
I think theirs were glazed. I prefer glazed. I don't like the sugar ones.
Oh, these had like a donut type of glaze on them?
Yeah.
that clear or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, then I'm not familiar with that kind. Were they like a scone then, or were they like a croissant puff pastry layered
It was
thing?
like puff pastry.
Okay.
Basically, just the topping was different.
Yeah, okay.
But overall, I don't like the sugar topping with the crystal.
You know what I'm talking about? Because that's the ones I'm more familiar with, I guess, a turnover where it's like they'll put that on top of it for whatever reason. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of that either. It's okay, but it's a waste of time.
But the baker, he was like 400 pounds. He was a big fella, but he could bake.
So, let's do that subject.
Oh.
You gonna do a poll for this show?
Paul, what would I put in my poll?
I don't know. I'm just wondering. A lot of people out there.
I usually don't do polls just because I forget that I can do polls.
I think people forget we got
polls just because I
think people forget we got the StreamYard thing too. I do.
What's StreamYard thing?
The giveaway tool on StreamYard. I keep forgetting.
Oh.
I mean, I have it as a favorite. I've used it a million times. I just, don't do it enough. I forget about it.
Yeah, I still have a She Fires mug that we'll give away eventually. Barbecue had won it, and he's like, "Nah, go ahead and give it to somebody else." So we'll save it for a future giveaway.
He doesn't like 2A channels that much.
Well, he's like, "I don't really need a mug."
No, I hear that. Unless you're gonna put. I use a big stainless steel thing more than a breakable mug.
I use mug that the gun shop gave me. That's the East County Guns in Elma, Washington. They gave me a mug, and that's the one I've been using for a couple years now.
So what was the pastry poll? Was there some kind of a pastry incident or pastries come up for something?
No, that's just what I thought of when I was on break. So
do you guys ever do how you get those tubes of biscuits? You can get tubes of pastry stuff and then do your own kind of folding or wrapping or doing whatever. You ever get that stuff?
I don't, because like the Pillsbury, um, the Pillsbury biscuits are serviceable, but they're not very good. So I don't like to get them. They're the Pillsbury, the frozen biscuits you get in the freezer aisle are a lot better.
I've never seen those. So that's like just frozen dough. Like,
Yeah.
is it on like a sheet or is it just like in a tube
Nope,
also?
just in a bag.
Okay. And then
So
you
the
just take them out frozen and put them on a rack and put them in the oven.
Yeah, like 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, well, that's how most restaurants. That's what we eat at most restaurants now. I mean, it's been a while since restaurants actually cooked anything. Most of the time, they're heating something that comes from their own commissaries, frozen like that. So that probably is pretty decent. But the problem is, it's not decent because it's like real butter and 6 ingredients. It's engineered to be like what we expect bread to be like or whatever.
Yeah.
But the biscuits in that, whenever those first came out, we used the heck out of them for camping and stuff. Like those things were, well, I guess they were more convenient. There was a novelty to them. I agree with you. They taste kind of chemically, I guess. But then they came out with the other doughs. Like, well, there was like at least a couple of 3 or 4 different ones. Because I remember we would cram hot dogs in there, and then we put like cherry filling from the pie filling in a can. We would bring that out camping, and tubes of different kinds of tubes of stuff, and sometimes you could wrap it around a stick or put it in tin foil or put it in a Dutch oven, or that's half the fun, is trying to figure out how to make something interesting that could hold the most filling, or cook the most interestingly or whatever. So anyway, we played around with quite a bit of those pastry things. I never liked them though. I was just asking because I never really liked them either. They always tasted like crap compared to old ladies that would make it from scratch.
I did. One many years ago, I made a pizza cake using those. Yeah, it was like, I can't remember how, it was like 5 layers, pepperoni pizza.
Oh,
And
like a lasagna pizza or something?
yeah. You just use the biscuits as the dough and you make your layers. And I bought a little pot just to do it.
Sounds like you're high on pot to be able to do something like that.
I'm one of those people who has never smoked pot.
It just sounds like a munchy thing.
It was kind of, I back when I used Facebook, came across it, and it's like, oh, I think I'll try that.
Do you remember that channel, Epic Mealtime?
No.
Do you remember that channel, Gizzard?
No.
Oh, really? So I'm not going to say they were the first giant channel, but they were one of the first giant channels. I can't remember anymore what years it was. They were a bunch of kids out of Canada though, and their first thing was they took a pizza. I think they went to like Domino's or somewhere and got a pizza. Then they went to the drive-thru and got a bunch of Big Macs or something, and then they went somewhere else and got French fries or something like that. And then they put stuff on the pizza and then kind of cooked it again with cheese on it. And then they sat there eating this like pizza with hamburgers on it and something else, maybe chicken or something. But it was just sort of like kids, like college kids doing dumb shit, like you would do after, I don't know, a dare or something, or when you're bored, you got too much money to burn in your pocket or whatever. So anyway, it turned into a channel, and that's all they did is make like crazy different foods and stuff and giant things. And I don't know, like I say, now YouTube channels do this stuff all the time, but they were one of the first channels to spend like, $1 million to make the world's biggest submarine sandwich, and then, invite like 70 people over to eat it once they made it. But they started out just being, making weird stuff in their other channel.
That sounds kind of like back when I had a fryer. I decided I'm going to fry a Three Musketeer bar.
Oh, yeah. They did stuff like that for sure.
Oh, my God. It was so good. It was so rich. It was actually kind of sickening.
So what did you put it in like a batter or what?
Yeah. Batter and fried it. And it, the center, the nougat got a little gooey. And wow, it was good. But like I said, it was super rich. So it was a little bit sickening. But
the fairs always do candy bars and stuff. I've never had one yet.
yeah, I wanted to do it. I wanted the deep fried cheeseburger and just never did.
A channel that cut the donut in half and put a cheeseburger in it. I mean, they would definitely do kind of stuff, but their stuff was to make like Oh, and then they would go to. I think they also would go to and this was in Canada, so they essentially had the same drive-throughs as us, but they had a couple of different ones. But they would go to a drive-through place and go, like, give me 5 of everything on the menu, and then they would just sit there in the drive-through as the restaurant tried to make 5 of everything on the menu and give them a bill for like $1 zillion, and then they'd go home and put like all the small things together and make like a lasagna of all the stuff from KFC or something. So they did giant stuff. It was that way. But they probably I didn't watch their stuff constantly or anything. This was before shorts for sure. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did just some weird stuff too. Or stuff like that, making hamburgers with donuts.
Larry Knopf and Ozzy Osbourne's out there.
But that is a thing. I've seen that at restaurants already, making hamburgers out of donuts. So
Yeah,
people
that's been around for a little while. I've never tried them just because I don't know about that sweet glaze with the hamburger. It doesn't sound appealing to me.
I like my dessert to be separate. I don't want sugar anywhere near my food when I'm eating it. Plus, it doesn't seem like it would be a worthwhile bun. Like half the point of the bun is to not have to touch a bunch of sloppy food, and donut's just going to disintegrate with everything inside of anything about a hamburger is going to kill a donut.
X Adam wants it's called self-respect. I haven't had a donut burger because I value myself. I watched was it today? Might have been this morning. I forget what on YouTube. I forget what channel it is, but they looked at Wagyu and made burger out of 100% Wagyu that they ordered, and American Wagyu, and then compared it to just regular ground beef. And
there's probably not a lot of difference, huh?
Overall, not really. According to them, the Wagyu had a more beef flavor to it, but it's half fat, so half of it, you lose half the weight when you cook it. And
most of the time when they make hamburger, they throw in like a couple of handfuls of fat so that I would think it'd be almost the same ratio almost or whatever. You'd have the equivalent half and half.
They said it was really good. It had the best flavor, but for the price you're paying, it's not really worth it. I've had probably the best cheeseburger I've ever had was at T-Mobile Stadium. Used to be Safeco Field where the Mariners play. Up in not in the suites, but the terrace level, they had American Kobe burgers, which the best cheeseburger I've ever had. They were expensive, but it's a ball field, so everything's expensive.
Was it good because it tasted different or because there was more fat in it than a regular hamburger?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because I don't remember anymore, but when you go to buy hamburger, don't you have to say it's usually 70% or something, right? But can't you buy like steak hamburger where it's literally just steak ground up and there's no fat at all? And then you can also buy it where it's like 50% fat or more.
Yeah, maybe? I usually buy sirloin, ground sirloin, because I prefer the flavor of that over a ground beef.
I buy what's called 80-20.
Okay, so that's how they do it, like a ratio.
Yeah, around here you can buy 70-30, 80-20, 85-15. I think I've even seen 90-10.
Because if you're making a hamburger or like a meatloaf, it's different, right? You want different ratios or something. Or I guess maybe just if you like your hamburger a different way.
Yeah, it depends on what you're going to make with it. For example, a lot of people will take ground beef and make jerky sticks out of it. Put jerky flavoring and then put it through a dehydrator. When you do that, you want as lean a ground beef as possible because you don't want that fat in there, because when you put that through a dehydrator, it just sweats and gets nasty.
And that's the part that gets rancid faster.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe that's the part that gets rancid at all, huh?
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Because I think when they made the meat only stuff, that could last for a good long time.
But just for cooking hamburgers, I like 80/20. You don't have
Now,
as much waste that way.
what about, I never, it's been, like, say, it's been a long time since I've had to think about this stuff, but what about where you get hamburger, but then they put like bacon in there, and like chopped up bacon instead of fat, or they put in like pork instead of, or don't they do that also? Where you get like, kind of a cross type of situation for the fat from something else.
Never had that. Let's put it that way.
I've bought frozen hamburger patties that had bacon in it, bacon and cheese. X Adam 1, 85.15 for hamburger helper and 80.20 for tacos.
Is it that big a difference with that? That doesn't sound like
There is a difference. See, when like when you make tacos and your taco seasoning, if you have a leaner, there's not as much grease, so it doesn't kind of ooze over everything. So it's not quite, I don't think it's quite as good as when it's leaner. You don't get as much of that drippiness to get all over
it's not
chip.
Greasy, or doesn't like have it'd be drier.
Yeah. Ron Wayne said it's like unleaded and high test.
High test. Wow, I haven't heard that term in a long time. Or ethyl.
What was ethyl? It was just different than gasoline?
Ethyl, I believe, was actually gasoline that had ethanol added to it to boost the octane back many, many years ago. Before adding ethanol to fuels was a thing.
Chasing Ghost is out there, and she said she posted a GoFundMe on Discord for her niece. Her niece is in the hospital. I'm not sure. I didn't catch exactly what happened to her to begin with, but she's not doing real well in the hospital. So. And I was going to say Ethel was Lucy's neighbor.
And landlord.
Yeah, I think in real life, they didn't like each other.
Well, in real life, Lucille Ball was actually older than Vivian Vance. That's what's hilarious. Doesn't look like it, but
yeah. And I forget the name of the neighbor's husband.
Fred.
He was
Mertz.
Fred Mertz. He was an alcoholic in real life. It's kind of caused problems for them. And interesting fact, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, the Desilu Productions, they're the reason that Star Trek got a second season. Because they were going to get canceled, and Desilu fought for them to get another season.
So I was curious. I looked it up, and in 1921, General Motors figured out that if they put tetraethyl lead in gasoline, that gets rid of the NOx that were driving people nuts back in the olden days.
That's it.
So it's ethyl is the short way of saying the type of lead that they put in gasoline. So ethyl was new in 1921 or 23 or whenever it came out, but it was essentially the way of saying like unleaded. now. We all say unleaded. Now we just say gas again because unleaded. What was it in the 80s? I guess that we switched from leaded to unleaded. So
Yeah.
you had to say leaded or unleaded, whether it was regular or unleaded. And I guess there was gasoline, and then there was ethyl. That was like the new leaded gasoline. It was called ethyl. And then we all know that ethyl, like I say, got kicked out in what, the 80s or something. Anyway, so it comes from
Once
tetraethyl lead.
they had hardened valve seats, then you could go with unleaded.
Oh, is that what it was? So it was. They were like, it sounds like all engines had this issue, and then they got rid of it by changing the gas. But they could have also had gotten rid of it by just changing the types of, or the way that they built those parts of the engine.
Something like that. I'm looking at your emails, X Adamant. I'm just trying to get the pictures to download so I can show them.
Yeah, automotive history is cool. I subscribe to at least one YouTube channel that does nothing but talk about old automobiles and their history and stuff. It's really a cool channel.
Didn't Jay Leno have a channel with his cars?
I think so.
And then his cars burned down or something, like half his garage burned down or something.
Half of Jay Leno burned down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was in the fire.
Oh, shit. Is he still doing stuff then, or did he quit doing stuff?
I think he is doing stuff again. I've seen clips of him, which I think are more recent. So I think it's after the fire. So he's still alive and he looks okay, but I'm not sure exactly when those clips are from. Well, I think I'll just do them this way. Share the windows. So,
just looking at the internet, it looks like that happened in 2022, and he was in the hospital for 9 days. He was 72 years old. But yeah, it says he was working on a car and something when it burst into flames from a gasoline fire.
So this is one of the pictures he sent in. I like it. Live Free Armory.
Nice.
And a hairy arm. Whoops. Uh-oh. There we go. I wanted to show his hairy arm. And send in a picture of Puppy. Here. Little puppy.
Aw.
And oh. Send in a video.
I looked up Jay Leno. It says that he's recovering from, the most recent thing says he's recovering from a motorcycle accident. So he's out there screwing around still. He's super old.
And, I wonder if I can. I don't think, there's not going to be any sound on this one. I'm not sure how to get it to. Because when I share it with the window, it doesn't play sound. So, but it's the robot revolution starting.
Oh, I've seen those at Walmart. I've seen those at Walmart with lazy employees just sitting on them, and the thing's running around doing its thing, and the employees just sitting there looking like they're working. I went into a Walmart one time. You know how the bathroom's right at the front? I was staying out front of it, and it was the middle of the night, and I went in to use the bathroom. So I came in, took a left, was walking towards the bathroom, and one of those things was coming at me, and they had jammed a mop under, like in behind it, so it was dragging like a wet mop on the floor behind it. And I don't know if that was intentionally or not, but the thing was out there just running around doing its routine and leaving this wet mops trail behind it. I don't know if like maybe it was designed to, they thought that it would look like they were working or something if they had the robot move a mop all around the store or whatever, or maybe they could track it or something, but it's weird.
M. Gabriel's out there. Good evening. Ozzy was saying Desilu produced Hogan's Heroes. One of my favorite shows.
I think I watched the Lucy movie, but I don't remember much about her.
Have you seen a C Crane, the website?
Where they
Sells,
make the radios and stuff?
yeah. That's Bob Crane Jr. That's his son.
Who's Bob Crane?
Hogan from Hogan's Heroes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He didn't want to use his dad's name, so he went. That's why it's C Crane instead of Bob Crane Jr. It was. I haven't looked at their stuff in a long time, but it was really neat because they had kind of, I don't know if it was quite leading edge technology, but they were, it was stuff that you wouldn't find anywhere else. And like the LED stuff before LED stuff was popular, the radios. I've had a couple of the radios. I still have one now, a clock radio. I plug my tablet into it and use it as a speaker because I use my phone as an alarm now. Ron Wayne is bringing up the long trailer with Lucy and Desi. I liked that as a kid. I remember watching it as a kid. They have a travel trailer, and it's their adventure pulling their travel trailer. X Adam One's wondering what's my next gun. I don't know. As always, there's lots of stuff I want. I would like a 10 millimeter 1911. I would like the Taurus TH10. I still don't have a lever gun. I still want a Smith & Wesson 500, but I've kind of, after talking to Hillbilly, he's kind of convinced me to also look at the 460s. Was kind of looking at the Raging Hunter in 460. I kind of like the look of the two-tone, but I really have always wanted a 454 Casull single action, the Ruger. So there's lots that I want, but I don't know if I'll get any of them. So I don't have a good answer for you. And earlier, X Adam 1 said that he could send me stuff for giveaways. I would say save them and do your own giveaways. Do giveaways for your channel. I appreciate it. I still have a couple of the knives that you sent me that I need to give away. A couple of the survival knives. But yeah, you could do giveaways for your channel, you know? Oh. So I saw that Travis officially announced Thunder on the Prairie. I didn't watch his video.
We did. I didn't see that.
The June 1st. I forget what day it is, but the first weekend in June, which I think is June 1st.
First and second. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So registration is open. Do you remember what the website's? Is it Nebraska Shooter?
It's NebraskaShooters.com. Yeah.
Yeah. But you need the code. So watch I will see if I can find Travis's video and I'll post it. As I think when I woke up, after I took a nap, and I saw something come up from Travis about the Thunder on the Prairie. And Gary, while I'm doing this, why don't you tell everybody what Thunder on the Prairie is, if you would?
Thunder on the Prairie is an annual get-together of YouTubers in Firth, Nebraska, usually the first weekend in June, and we get together there. They stay at Nebraska Shooters, which is a range near Firth. It's a rather large range with a good size building, which has a bunkhouse built in with a few places to stay. But we get together and we do shooting. Usually the first day we have a fun shoot, which is just a series of informal contests that we compete in and stuff like that. And they give out prizes. And then usually there is time for open shooting and stuff like that. And then the second day is usually reserved for recording videos where you want to set up your camera and everything and have specific things you want to do. And in the evenings, there's usually a meal that everybody goes out to, and usually they cook out burgers for lunch and stuff like that. And there's a bunch of donuts, coffee, giveaways, and everybody has a good time there. So, yeah, I've been both years. This will be my third year. It's a good time.
Yeah, last year was my first year, and it was fun. For me, it was nice to meet everybody. Have a good night, Ron Wayne. But to get to shake hands and talk to the guys that I talked to over the internet, it was nice to see them in person. So I put a link for Travis P11's community tab. He has a post about the Thunder on the Prairie with links to stuff. So check it out. Think about going. And the Nebraska Shooters is it's a neat facility, and the people that run it are great people.
Oh yeah.
And there's usually a couple nights to go out for dinner. Everybody goes out for dinner, and
and everybody lets everybody else shoot their guns. Like people will bring out something special and invite everybody else to shoot it and stuff. So
I've heard that this is a non-9mm event. There's no 9mm encouraged or allowed. Is that true?
Well, it's all inclusive. so any caliber can come. Uh,
We even
the
shot shotguns last year. That
Yep.
was fun. Shotgun bowling. Oh yeah.
12 gauge shotgun had 22s. Was it a Rossi rifle for the duck hunt?
I believe so.
And they had a couple 22 rifles. I don't remember what the pistol was. We were shooting at golf balls hanging on strings.
I can't remember either, to tell you the truth. Thinking it was a Browning Buckmark, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
And then there was the hostage target.
Now, that was a Canic. I remember that.
And I killed the I killed the hostage.
I was the only person to successfully hit the hostage taker with every shot.
Yeah, I hit the hostage with every shot. Square in the chest. So I had a nice grouping. And then there was like Squib. He brought his Garand. So I got to shoot Garand for the first time, which was awesome. He had the not M14.
See, the first year he brought his black powder pistols. Those were cool.
And Pat in the Bunker, he had a couple Mosins. His sporterized Mosin was an awesome rifle. I mean, when it was super accurate and the way it was set up, it was fairly soft shooting. I mean, it hit hard, but you didn't.
Yeah, that was the first Mosin I ever shot, and I actually enjoyed it. That's fun.
And then Wayward Son, he had brought some and then kind of got people's compact nines together to do big review and then had people shoot them to get their opinions of them.
Well, we have like 6 guns, 8 guns. There's quite a few.
Yeah, there was a bunch.
That'd be horrible.
Well, one of them was pretty horrible to shoot. I think it's that P938.
I have never liked the P938s and the SIG, or not SIG. What was it? The P10? It felt
There's
like
a CZ there. The very first one, I think, was the CZ. P10M, I believe.
Yeah, the CZ. It felt like a Keltec. Like it felt a lot like my P17. I really did not like that. I was disappointed to find out that was a CZ.
When you shoot a CZ, it's balanced. It's like set up. You need to tie your hair into a bun, a man bun, and then with all that like tightness on your headline, your hairline, it'll be easier to shoot the CZ.
But you can shoot them with one hand because you've got to hold your soy latte in the other. So
exactly. Or like be texting.
But overall, it's a fun time, and there are spaces to stay there at Nebraska Shooters. When you register, you can reserve a spot.
And it's a cool bunkhouse. I mean, there's a pool table, a foosball table, full kitchen. We have fun up there, man.
I'd go if there was bumper pool, but it doesn't sound like there's bumper pool.
No, just the one pool table.
I was gonna, but no, I don't think so now.
If you go, bring a towel.
Yes, I learned that lesson last year.
In Nebraska, they just use corn husks for everything, wiping and drying. Paper towels? Why would we buy them when we have all these corn husks? bath towels. Why would we buy them when we have all these corn dogs?
But yeah,
Why would we buy them when we got all these corn dogs?
it was a fun time, and the first day is kind of set up, kind of like they did competitions, duck hunt and the golf ball shooting and the hostage thingy, and then the second day was kind of for if you wanted to do videos and stuff. But like I said, it was fun, definitely fun, and I reserved my spot, so I'm planning on going.
Me too. And I thought I heard somebody else did too, but I can't remember who.
Pat in the Bunker is registered. Is when I was having trouble registering, and when I talked to Defense Dad, you and Pat were the only two that had registered as of that time. X Adam One was wanted to go last year, so maybe he'll go this year. I don't know. Be cool if he did.
Yes, it would.
So he had asked me what my next gun is. What about you, Gary?
Well, I don't know.
Is there anything that you're looking at or thinking about?
Not really. I mean, not that I wouldn't take another gun. I just don't have anything in particular that I'm looking at right now. But a lot of times what happens is I'll go to a store and see something and it's like, oh, yeah, I've saw those before. I ought to buy that. So a lot of times I'll end up with guns I never planned to buy when I went into the store. It's just an idea struck me once I got there. I wouldn't say that happens all the time, but yeah, I have guns here now that I didn't plan on buying, but I saw them in a store. It's like, I better buy that. Sometimes,
I've gone to buy something specific and then saw something different while I was there and bought something different.
or
The
you
only one
couldn't find the gun you were looking for, so you're just so upset. It's like, well, I gotta buy something. I've done that before too.
I guess it's happened twice where I've gone, saw something and thought, oh, I need to get that. It was by PPK. They had a pair of them, a matching. Well, I don't know if they were matching, but they looked the same, both stainless. So I bought one of those because I felt compelled. And then the Ruger Super Blackhawk stainless, where I saw it and kind of got the, ooh, that looks nice. Went home, thought about it and thought about it and thought about it, and went back the next day and I bought it.
You're lucky it was still there. I've had that happen to me where I thought about something overnight, you go back the next day and it's gone. That's happened to me more than
Yes.
once.
I saw a Kalashnikov shotgun, one of the AK shotguns, type shotguns, looking shotguns, and kind of became infatuated with it, looking at it. Went home and thought about it, and I said, well, I'll go back tomorrow. Went back the next day and it was gone. And it was for a really good price. I forget what the price is now, but from kind of talking with G-Webs and other people that they're not the most reliable, but they are cool looking.
Wait, what? A Sega shotgun?
No, well, kind of looks like that, but it wasn't a Sega. It was the Kalashnikov.
Well, okay. I don't know if I want to say they're not reliable. I just don't like them because the shotgun shells are massive and their magazines are huge. Like a 10-round magazine's huge. So I just think they're not practical. But I've never heard of them not running well. They run pretty good. They're AKs.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, I'm not an AK guy. I'm not an AK fan. I am slow. I will say, I think influence from people like you. Um, I don't know if it's changing my mind, but I more and more think that, well, I don't have one, so maybe I should get one, which I can't right now because of Washington's laws, current laws. But in the future, you never know. Ozzy said he's still looking at a 44 Magnum Taurus tracker. I really like the two-tone trackers. Look at those. Oh, so what else is going on? What else should we talk about? Do we run out of stuff already?
I released a
You
whole.
didn't ask me what my gun is.
I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah, that's right.
Well, I did not because you have kind of moved on from.
Yeah, but now I have a gun, or maybe more than one. So I got to get an FFL now because Pincus wants to send me one of them, whatever his gun is, with the 30 super carry.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Wow.
Mainly, I want to hook up. I want to have something to shoot the 30 super carry out of, but it's either that or what? There's like two other guns, and he'll give me that gun, so I'll take the one that's free.
I think I saw for the first time 30 super carry ammunition in the store up at Cabela's.
I got Federal sending me some, so that's cool.
Ah. And last when I was on, it was either Buds or CDNN Sports. They're used guns. There were a few super carries in the used section. Might have been Cabela's
What gun?
online. I don't remember because
I thought they only make like a Nighthawk and something else.
I don't remember. I'm not interested in super carry, so I didn't look at the guns. I just remember seeing that there were some 30 super carry.
But Pincus was looking for people to, care about his gun for sure, but also anybody that was interested in 30 super carry. So he facilitated meeting the guy who, I'm not going to say he invented it because I don't know yet, but the guy that took the ball and ran with it at Federal. So I'll have him on in a week or so to chat about it.
That's cool.
Well, if he's looking for people to send one to, give
Oh, you want, I mean, if you're looking for a gun, dude, you can definitely get one of those. But anyway, so I'm going to have a FFL for that, and then I figure I might as well flex. I haven't done that in a while, so I'm going to poke around and see, once I get an FFL that'll hook me up, I'm going to see if I can get any other guns coming.
That's cool.
They are out there, so I don't know what I'd want, but probably some 22s. Unless people send me AKs, I guess I'll take AK. So at some point, I got to do some research on the 30 super carry and figure out some good questions to ask, some things to.
Oh, I think one of the guns that I saw, and I don't remember which side it was one of the M&P EZs in 30 super carry.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, it's a common gun, and it's the Smith & Wesson. That's it. Is an EZ like an M&P, or what is the EZ? I can't remember. Is that a little gun?
Yeah.
Okay. I think they existed when I worked at the shop, but I wasn't even paying attention towards the end there.
Yeah, I've got the 380 EZ, and I've shot the 9. Or did I shoot the 9? No, I think I looked at the 9 at the gun shop, but when I was looking for another 380, I bought the EZ. It was either that or Bursa, and I went with the M&P.
Doesn't High Point have the carbine in 30 Super Carry? I believe they put that out last year.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I would probably be more interested in that in the carbine than in a pistol.
Might be the 380 killer. You never know.
I don't think personally. I don't think so, but I'm not. Uh, I'm not saying it shouldn't. I'm not saying it should.
It's got its advantages. I mean, I shot it at range day a couple of years ago. I remember. It shoots pretty nice.
Oh, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. But you never know, because it seems to.
If they create more guns that chamber it and people buy them, it might go somewhere. I mean, yeah, ammo scarcity is a thing, but why produce it if there's no guns chambered in it? But we're getting more and more guns chambered in it now, so all it'll take is tourists to make something. And
oh yeah, definitely. Oh, don't you have contacts in the gun industry there, Gary? You can tell them to get on it.
Gizzard talks and Taurus jumps.
Use your influence. You're an influencer.
That's true. I am an influencer. And Taurus likes me.
I like Taurus. I've got two Tauri. My 65 and the TH9.
I'm gonna say only 2. That's cute.
I believe in diversity, so I've got a little bit of not everything, but I am not focused on any one brand.
Yeah, I have 3 SIGs, 3 Glocks, 1 Smith & Wesson, got a Ruger.
Yeah, it's kind of funny at work. I am well. There's 2 of us that are considered the gun guys. The other guy I don't really know. I know who he is, but I've never talked to him. He works kind of the opposite schedule as me. But when people ask me questions or come to me because they'll tell me, oh well, you're the gun guy. It's like, well, I know a lot of people that have a lot more guns than me. I am a gun guy. I'm not the gun guy.
Yeah, that's the way I was in my old department where I worked. I was the resident gun person. They'd come to if they had questions, which I thought was hilarious.
So that's like switch it to motorcycles or airplanes or boats or something else that's like, fancy cars or something. You can be very knowledgeable without owning them or ever driving one. You're allowed to be like that with guns. There's people that know all about military guns. I mean, I grew up being a little kid knowing all about Vietnam guns and stuff. I shouldn't say I never touched one, but, I didn't have them at my disposal or whatever. I couldn't just play with them or whatever. So it wasn't like through experience that way. So I think we're allowed to, like about space or something, trains, or that kind of thing. You don't own a train, but you can know everything about a train. You don't even have to work for a train. So I think you're allowed to be subject matter expert. once removed or whatever that's called, like
And you
adjacent.
don't have to be just guns. I mean, just because of a silly disease 3 years ago, I got involved in knives, and now I can't stop. I'm just fanatic about them, about as much as I am guns, and it was kind of a pain in the butt at first, but I really love it now because it's really two different things to get into. It's kind of like diversity almost. And the cool thing is, you can go to SHOT Show and see both.
Ozzy's got my daughter a 380 EZ and son an EZ9.
Ooh, looky here.
Oh,
Looks like a cigar cutter.
I'll show you these yet. These are the Almars. So it's flat on this side, chisel on this side, right? And then a Tonto blade.
It reminds me of that Kyvie.
Right? Kinda, except that it's got that hole. I'm
Which I
guessing
have one of those too. Tiny knives are super cool.
Big clip on it. So Elmar does these. Does this block? Isn't that a Chinese thing?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like the signature block or whatever that's called. And then they've got their instructions in here.
That's a cool looking knife.
And this one is called the. This one is called the Siri 2020.
Look at this guy. He's got boxes after boxes, man.
So keep this one in mind next time you go. I was also going to say, if you want, you should start looking at some of the other shows. I don't know how far you're interested in getting to Denver, or like, there's some happening in Denver, or some happening in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, Blade shows. I've thought about going to Blade show. It does sound like a lot of
Blade
fun.
show is Reno, Texas, and Georgia. That's a little different. But Blade show is going to be a lot of custom knives. I have this thing so focused in, it's not really helpful, is it?
I like the look of that blade.
You do like this one?
Yeah, the scales are meh, but I like that blade.
I mean, it's utilitarian scales. I kind of like them for camping knife, utility knife, right? Like this is definitely like I would call it like a soldier's, not a fighting knife necessarily, but for like, opening boxes and just doing stuff. It's a good
Look
thick
how
blade.
thick that blade is. Wow.
Right? It's got a little bit of whatever this is called, double blade, and then it's pretty sharp.
Good for opening boxes or people.
Good through tissue paper. So Elmar on this side, and then so.
How deep is the engraving for the name? So it looks deeper than. Is it just the way it looks, or?
I think it's lasered, and then colored. Colors colored, so it's in there. It's lasered. This side is just like on the surface or whatever.
Yeah.
This is cut and then filled. I don't know if that's coming in good, but this is definitely. Oh, hold on. Nah, this is just silkscreen. I'm wrong.
Oh.
And I'm guessing that it's AMK 2210. Is that the steel?
I'm guessing AMK is Elmar Knives.
Oh, okay. No, that makes more sense. So somewhere around here, see that? That's spring assist, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So it's got a spring assist because it opens right up. Got the clip going on there, and then liner lock with this. I don't know what that's called, but makes it way easier to get in there. So that one is the Siri 2020. $40, 20 something, $30, I think. This isn't this is an economical one. And then this one is 100 something, the ultra thin. Again, the stuff is in here. No little wipes or nothing, no stickers. And then aluminum with a blue thingy. Frame lock. I didn't flip that very well. So these guys are, you know where Mead was? Or do you know where, you had to know where Boker was?
Yeah, I know where Boker was.
These are next to Boker. Like you walk backwards out of the Boker booth and they're right there. It's sort of by Mead and Boker and all that. So I've always liked Elmars. They're just unique and they're not trying to follow anybody else's designs. Like I always, this one's kind of a cross between a steak knife and a, pocket knife because it's so big, but there's nothing to it. It's really thin, really light. So I consider this one like, if you had to cook or eat, this is not little. You know what I mean? You're not using a little pen knife. This is a decent knife, but it's also not so huge. If you just opened it to get a box open or something, I don't think anybody's gonna be too intimidated by it. Maybe.
Well, the great thing about aluminum scales like that is it eliminates the need for a frame. So you're saving a little bit on width and weight with that. So
yeah, this is very lightweight. Mike, I think it's 100 something, 119, 120, something like that.
My internet dropped there for a second.
I wondered.
Yeah, when you do full screen, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, we took this over. It's now a knife show. So
I like the look of that one.
And then I should show the jimping.
Double jimping on there. See, that clip is non-reversible.
Oh yeah, not at all. This is like in-ground there or graved in there or whatever.
Inset, yeah.
But
they're doing that a lot with pocket clips now because it's just a lot cleaner way to doing stuff. But
compared to just
milling, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But compared to just having it set on the surface, it adds like $1 million to this thing.
Oh,
but that's definitely some engineering because that thing, look how much space that's taken. And that's taken half of that distance there. And then it has one of these things like what Civibi does for a lanyard. You don't get a hole. You just get that rounded off like bolster. I don't know what those are called.
Bolsters, spacers. Yeah.
So it's a pretty elegant design. There's just the one in front and one here and one here. And this one's the mushroom style. So
is it ball bearing or washers? Do you know?
I have no idea. Is there a
way guessing that's bearings the way it flips.
Is there a way to tell?
No, that taking it apart. But
yeah, I don't know then.
Usually the more expensive knives, they use some sort of bearings on them. Usually ceramic. But yeah, it looks like they put an awful lot of thought into putting that together. So it's not a gas station knife, that's for sure.
Elmar Knives 4119, I guess.
I'm guessing that's a model number.
Yeah. Oh, that's probably it, huh? Yep, there you go. Elmar Knives 4119.
D2 steel, okay. So.
Oh yeah, there we go. So D2 and then titanium.
Okay, titanium. All right.
I'm pretty sure this one is titanium.
That explains $100. Yeah, it's a titanium. Okay.
And D2 isn't. They're not giving D2 away, but they're made in China. But I mean, that's when you're looking at that lockup or whatever that is. What's that called? Like the balance or
the balance of the world's steel is made in China. I mean, from an economical standpoint, you just about have to. So.
What's it called when that thing lays just perfect in between? I guess it's a little bit off. But, like some of them are pretty
darn close. Yeah. Centering is what they call that.
But. Okay. Anyway, so there's a little Elmar knife action.
That's a good knife.
And And that first one's called the Havana Clipper. Not on Amazon. Both of these are on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Then we got this little guy today. How did I get it out of there?
Yeah, open the box.
Oh, I did open the box. Yeah. Like, that's not coming out. This is, what did I just say? I think it's a $26 piece of titanium. And then it's got this clippy deal. So I'm guessing you would, how would you do this? Put this on your belt loop and then put your keys down here? Or would you put your keys in here and put this on your belt loop? How would you do
I would
it?
probably do
That's
it
the
that
way I would do it. Yeah, the keys would go on the loop in the bottom.
Yeah, that's probably how we have to do it. And then there's two. The Pro model has two of these, but this one has a scalpel blade here. And it looks like it's designed to come out to 90 degrees for some reason. I have no idea why you would do this. It's not very sturdy there. Or open up all the way. And that's just a scalpel blade. And it turns out they come along with 6 additional scalpel blades right away. And from what I can tell, you just take that thing out, and then that comes apart, and then that's what's holding the tip of the back end of the blade down here.
Oh, okay.
No lock or anything. It's just 2 detents, and then titanium, and then over on this side there's a ruler. And I think that's the extent of its features. Roy V. Vaughan. They make a lot of flashlights. So maybe this is like an accessory to the flashlight. Maybe this is like, you put your flashlight on here and then clip your flashlight to stuff. And then this is, their enhanced tool for that. This thing only fits in here one way.
It's a puzzle.
Yeah, how many ways can this even go? I would have assumed it had been the writing out, but it doesn't look like the writing out is winning.
There's the carabiner knife. Okay. Yeah, they've got an upgraded model that's actually got a bit driver along with the knife. Now that would be cool.
Right? And it looks like it's just, they mill this out and have it right here and just have a second tool on the other side. And it's a bit driver, like you say, they can just take in other bits. I just took it out of here. Why isn't it going back in? There's only like so many ways this thing could even fit in here. This makes no sense.
Oh, there's a change in the matrix.
What is that? This is the Manchuchan situation. We all thought it went fit in here, but in reality, it was never even in this little container. It was always over here. The Berenstein Bears. What's that called?
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, there can only be 4 ways that this can fit in here, right? Like
The
one
Mandela effect.
Yeah, I'm getting Mandela here. This is crazy.
It was never there.
It was never
Went
in
in the other side.
There is no spoon.
But it had to fit in next to this thing, I thought. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it was at an angle. It must have been at some kind of angle, I guess. See, that's not fitting in there. Uh-oh. Did that fit? Let's act like that fit. And the writing is out, so I'm guessing it just had to be at a weird angle and not actually fit in the lid like I thought it did.
Interesting.
I got Mandela'd. I mean, it is clever because all they had to do is wrap a piece of paper around it, and now it's got its mark, it's packaging, and it's also a storage box when you use it. So Revon on Amazon.
Well, I will show my.
Yeah, you started all this before the chat.
Yeah, because I was talking about, I did a review on my Smith & Wesson dagger, my HRT dagger. When I was researching, I realized this is a single edge, and I realized they make a double edged. And then I was very disappointed that I did not own the double edged, so I bought the double edged. And so I have to redo this review because some of the remarks I made about the double edged one was based on the website. And now that I have both, some of my comments are incorrect. So, but the double edged is cooler because it is double edged.
So, are you going to just keep the double edge normal and throw the single edge now?
I have thought about throwing them because they're nice and pointy.
I mean, I'd keep the double edge nice, I think. Plus, I don't know how fragile they are. Like, you might throw them. Well, do you throw into boxes or in foam, or do you throw into like a piece of wood?
Well, I haven't thrown in years because I have some throwing knives. They're up there and packed away.
Stuck in the ceiling, straight up into the ceiling.
And I would just throw them at trees.
Okay, outside.
Yeah.
Because I do know people that take a piece of tree, like a what do they call, like what, slice a tree, and then just throw it at that. But you're talking like the bark of a tree, like throwing at a growing tree. Okay.
I've thought about making a target so I can throw some, because I wanted to try the Smith & Wesson throwing knives. Not that I'm a big Smith & Wesson knife fan. It's just, I came across them and they piqued my interest. So the thumbnail for it's stuck in a piece of wood for the review that I have to redo.
Because those definitely are the kind of knives that are fun to throw. Although I wouldn't buy knives like that to throw. Those handles that get destroyed after you hit them a few times. Yeah,
these are extruded rubber, and it's not balanced.
Well, that doesn't bother me.
So the balance is about there.
It might be, what do they call it when it's not a whole tang necessarily, but like there's a piece of metal going through the whole thing, but it's not the whole width of the, it's not the blade going through.
These are full tang.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't even care. Like, I'll throw whatever. I've got a bunch of throwers that are like from the circus or some shit. Have you ever had ones that are like that, where they're like almost like a big bulby shape and then it's just a little tiny handle?
Yeah, that's what I have, are those.
Oh, okay. Do you ever watch my video on my throwing stuff? It's probably been 8 years since I did my throwing knife stuff. I have like this lunchbox full of all my throwing knives. I have a lunchbox full of stars, and then I have another box full of all my throwing knives. But about half of my throwing knives are steak knives. I started throwing when I was a little kid, but I threw a lot of knives when I worked at a sandwich shop. And we had these knives for making sandwiches, like imagine working at Subway or something and you have to cut sandwiches all the time. So when these knives would get bad, I could throw them away. Like, technically, as the manager, I could say, like, I need new knives, and order new knives, and nobody would get mad at me. I mean, they would get bad too. Kids would use them for dumb shit, like opening a jar of pickles or something, and it would ruin the knife, and then they would be useless on bread. So, we were going through all these knives, and I was like, I'm not going to throw these away because I'm cheap. And, I don't have to throw them away because I'm the manager of the store. So I started throwing them into the boxes, like a box of cups come in, a giant box, like half size of a refrigerator. I don't know if you've ever seen what boxes of cups come in or look like. So we would set these boxes of cups all around the back of the store, because we had a really giant kitchen for some reason. The building that they made our store out of had this huge back room that was way too big for no reason. And we could just set up, we just put cardboard boxes all over and run around all night. We just have knives laying around. So we'd go in the back in between customers or whatever and just wing a bunch of knives. You'd hear boom, 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 bing, and like somebody hit a pipe or something. But anyway, we'd throw these bread knives. Essentially like what you have at Subway, probably really close to what you have at Subway, because they're just whatever the restaurant supply store would sell you. And But we were really good at throwing those knives into cardboard. Like, it was essentially like throwing darts after a while. So anyway, I have a bunch of those still. Like, throwing steak knives is really easy.
Yeah, I was debating whether I should give away the single-edged one or keep it because now it's kind of a pair.
Throw it for sure.
Yep, my throwing knives, I actually back in junior high found them at a pawn shop.
How many do you have?
I think 2.
Oh, okay.
I used to have 3, and I lost one in the woods throwing them.
I can't even count how many throwing knives I have because I just buy them whenever I feel like it or whenever I'm in the mood to throw. I'll just start throwing and then buy whatever throwing knives are in front of me. So I've got dozens of styles, I suppose. I got a lot. But sometimes they're sets of 3, sometimes they're single, sometimes they're like 2. Kind of depends on what I'm buying. Or sometimes I'll see them cheap and I'll buy 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, I bought those, and I bought a chess set. It was carved. I don't even know what kind of stone it was. It's kind of greenish and white, and there was kind of Polynesian motif, which I don't have. I don't know what happened to that set. I don't know where that one went. One of the many things that have gotten lost over the years of moving.
Did you play chess with it or just have it for decoration type of thing?
Kind of, it was decorative, but I would play with it also. Mr. Bobalina, Mr. Bob Dobalina's out there. That's a monkey song. I'm not sure if I'm guessing that's where he got his name from. But I don't know for sure. I've never seen him say.
Maybe it was just people with that name, and then when they started the monkey song, they named their kid that.
That could be. Oh, he said it is. Yeah, it was, I think Mickey Dolenz was at a department store, and there was a guy named Dobalina got paged over the PA system, Mr. Bob Dobalina, and he thought that's kind of sounds musical. So he created a song based on that.
Oh, I thought you were describing an episode of the show. You're saying that was the inspiration for the song in real life.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you. Okay. I thought you were talking you were going to say that was the beginning of the episode or some shit.
Yeah, it's kind of a spoken song where they say zilch, and then they'll say a line, and one of them's Mr. Dobalina, Mr. Bob Dobalina, Mr. Dobalina, Mr. Bob Dobalina. Oh, let me do
bracket.
No, can't do a bracket. After we did the bracket the last time, I realized that there was a software update for the bracket that I put off until after we did the last bracket, and there was a bug in it, so I have to wait for the update. So once they come out with a fix for that update, then we can do another bracket. We can do this. GearWebsites.com for all your 2A related stickers, patches, books, web design, web consulting. If you're looking for a logo, he can help you design a logo. 3D printing, you name it, he'll help you design it or consult at it or whatever. GearWebsites.com.
We've added professional puggery to our list of services. So if you need any kind of puggery, we can take care of that. Handcrafted puggery.
And Larry's asking, have you ever used the same excuse twice? I am shocked and appalled that you would assume that I'm making excuses.
These are
And
explanations for the situation. That's all.
no, I have not.
You know why they call it a computer bug?
I don't.
You know why, Gizzard? I don't. I remember the story. I don't remember the details. But back in the olden days when the first computers were being made, I think it was the ones that were deciphering the Nazi stuff, the ENIAC or whatever it was. So when computers were not yet even transistorized, they were still mechanical essentially. So the relays and stuff were like pieces of metal that would flip back and forth, and they would take notes as they were building these things and maintaining them. And the guy who was writing the notes one night, they figured out a problem had happened, and he tracked it all down, and it was like a moth or something got stuck in between these two pieces of metal that were smashing together, and this little hammer thing inside the computer had smashed the shit out of this bug. So he took the moth, and took a piece of Scotch tape or whatever and taped it to the book so that they'd literally see, this is what happened. This bug got attracted to the heat or the light or something, and it got smashed in here, and it was, preventing the contact from being made. So they ended up having these notebooks that had, like maybe a couple of dozen bugs taped to the pages, and that's why they call them computer bugs. That stuck, I guess, as they went to transistors and everything else.
Cool.
And then it's debugging the computers, going in there and picking the moths out of the little motorized contraption. Imagine like the telephone days when all that stuff was still mechanical. They probably had bugs in there constantly.
Mr. Dabalina said he did. He knew. He's been a programmer for 40 years. I wrote a program for an Apple IIe when I was in junior high, and I really did not enjoy programming and never did it again. So, Gary.
Yes.
Mr. Gazer Gary.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything you'd like to plug?
Well, let's see. This is Wednesday night. Actually, this is Thursday morning. So tomorrow, Friday night, is Foul Territory. 9 p.m. Central Time. Foul Territory 250. And other than that, let's see. I've got a whole bunch of videos from SHOT Show that are waiting to be, that are out there for my channel members to watch now, actually. Just a little plug. If you're a channel member, you can watch all those videos now. Otherwise, you'll have to wait until I release them. But hopefully you'll enjoy them anyway. So check those out. And as always, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you being here. G-Webs, why don't you tell everybody about the new and exciting things upcoming for Gear Websites?
At the store, we're going to be doing all kinds of interesting things. I have no idea how quickly that'll happen. I got to do taxes here for a couple of how long that takes. I'm giving myself 2 weeks, but hopefully it won't take that long. But certainly patches, free patches. I haven't looked over there. I haven't got a lot of orders, but if you order, and while supplies last, lots of free patches. And supplies will last for a little while because nobody's ordering anything.
Gary, can you drop a link for gearwebsites.com for me, please?
Oh, I can drop one. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Please. Oh, but I just want to say thank you to those that were out there in the live chat, chatting it up. I appreciate it. And those who might have been watching and didn't say anything, I do appreciate you too. Don't be afraid to speak up. Let me know that you're out there. And if you watch this in replay, leave a comment. Anything we talked about, agree with, disagree with, favorite pastry. I read all the comments, and I do really appreciate them. And there will be an overnight this weekend. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I haven't really thought about, so we'll be talking about something. I'll guarantee you that.
You want it to be a gun topic, right?
Yeah, it tends to be more gun topic-ish.
You want a 2A topic or a gun topic?
Either or. Like I said, I haven't even really thought about anything.
What about taking a look at all the different lever actions that came out over the last little while? Else, all the craziness that's happening in like Massachusetts, about to get clobbered. There was another state that's about to get clobbered.
We could do something in there, one of those. The lever action would be a lot easier, a lot less research, but
For sure.
the gun laws would be more important. I don't know. We'll see. We'll do something. Just depends on how motivated I feel in the next couple days. Jason Ghost said she's still here, ready to ride home. We'll ride safe.
Safe travels.
Other than that, let me turn off the banner here. There we go. Like I said, appreciate everybody, and hope you have a good rest of the night and go do something good. My internet is acting up and it won't let me stop.